going through how to move a Windows installation to another drive. So here's my this is my virtual Windows 10 computer. I will how the fuck is the RAM usage being used like this right now? I'm not gonna worry about that. I'll start this bitch up. Yeah, so no, I've curated a list of solutions that would perform this task of migrating Windows into another drive, like a bootable drive, and you do the whole you go through the whole cloning bit, and then when it's all said and done, you go through BIOS and then make that new drive the booting drive. So I'm just going through how I imagine just a normal setup of Windows would be. All right, so Windows, and if we look at this is Windows 10. I don't like the Windows 10 start menu. I like my custom one. But you see, this computer the only physical drive on this is the C drive. It's the only drive on this computer is 127 gigs. So, or cut that out. I'm going to create a drive that is larger than that 127. I'm gonna make this 156 and 158, and put it or add this drive here. All right, and go back into my Windows. Back in Windows, let's go to okay, disk management. Does it see the new drive? Nope, doesn't see the new drive yet. So, device manager. Let's see if it's just a new thing it has to pick up. Yeah, okay, so there's that new drive. There's that 158 drive I just created down there. I'm gonna. Most people don't have to do this whenever they plug drives in. Actually, I think they do. I don't know what regular people do. I'll make it my D drive. It's my data volume. At 100 and almost 60 gig compared to my 127. All right, and so to get this installation of Windows right here onto that new drive and boot into it as if it's the drive that I'm currently booted into now, um, I'm going to download and install a program which I've tested a couple times and it's been pretty good to me. It worked as I expect, but it's called what's that shit called? I think it was in this article here. You can do all that. You can do this. Yeah, Macrium. That's what it's called. As I read several articles like talking about this particular program, and I did some other ones, but this one seemed to work the best, and it felt the best. Like you could actually see progress. There were some of them where the like you start the cloning process and like it would just stay at zero forever. It'd make the shadow copies and just like, all right, I'm transferring the data and stay at zero forever. Before I continue with this, so yeah, you go to Macrium Software. So I'll probably provide a link for this. I'll probably just do a link because we're gonna do it free, and we want a personal license. And there we go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pop that in my downloads. Yep, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and well, I'm not gonna do it that way. I'll do it the a way that's universal. You go to your wherever you placed. I put it in my downloads folder. You can put it anywhere you want. I'll execute it from there, and basically the what you download it from the website is basically just another downloader, and so keep it in my downloads folder. It's a Ren1, and just hit the download button. Just keep everything default. Okay, it already did its business. I have it set to run directly after downloading, so okay. Well, I was gonna quit it, but it seemed to quit itself out as a part of the process, so don't close that window. I was gonna close it, but shit. So I imagine this window is gonna pop up eventually. Oh, there it is, right there. Of course, it's gonna ask for admin permissions. It's gonna want to create snapshots of your disks, so it needs that kind of it needs that those privileges to do that installation, because I think we just downloaded shit, so it needs to install after that second time of downloading something. This is how Windows works, mind you. 'Cause I'm a Linux user. 'Cause I like to just like go through the repos and get my stuff. I don't really care for downloading stuff off the internet and doing all this and clicking buttons. Yeah, I want my personal. I agree that this is. I'm only doing this for myself. This is not commercial. Yes. Email. I do not want to register. No. Okay. No desktop shortcut. Don't want that. I don't care about virtual machines because this is a virtual machine. All right. Run now. Finish. Let's go. Because I want to clone this disk right now. Okie dokie. So the interface. I want to. I want to. Uh, Image selected distance, create an image of the partitions. I don't want to do any of this shit. I just want to. Oh, here we go. Clone this disk. So yeah, this disk. No, no, I don't want to clone this one. I don't unselect that. No, no, get out of here. This disk up here. I want to clone this disk up here. See, this is nothing. See, I have 157 gigabytes free of this NTFS partition on the D drive. And this can be mapped out however you can have all kinds of shit on here. You can have it filled to the gills. It doesn't matter because we're about to wipe it. And I want this drive. This is my C drive. This is, well, we call it the C. This is the actual C drive. It's just this partition, but the drive itself. We want to clone all these bits over here because this is this bit right here that, or is it this one? One of these two, I forget, is the boot part. That's the one BIOS reads and actually start the shit. But I just select the whole damn thing, clone. All right, select a disk to clone, and this is the secondary disk, the D drive as we call it, and we're gonna hit the next button, and I'm not scheduling this, I want it to go now. And next again, you're gonna get a summary. What happens? It's just moving partitions over, and hit finish, and you can leave that as default because it doesn't mean anything because we're moving freaking disks. All targets will be this just want to tell you that the D drive is going to be overwritten, is going to be destroyed. The current data that's on it, I don't care. All disks will be overwritten. I don't care. Go do it. Okay, and this is the part. This is going to take the longest. This is gonna go ahead and copy all the data over. I'm gonna go ahead and say when it's all said and done, shut down the computer so you don't have to shut it down yourself. All right, and just let it run. I'm gonna do a time skip and just get to the part where it's shut off already. Okay. Looks like the cloning is completed. Let's switch over back to make sure still recording, still input. Okay. All right. So I just caught it in time, but it shut down from this point forward. So in a physical state, so you'd have to turn the computer back on, go into your BIOS, and then change the boot order to boot off of that other drive that you just cloned onto. So you know the size of it. Hopefully BIOS knows the size of it. Every BIOS is different, so I really cannot help you there, but I know for a fact you can change your boot order in BIOS. That's just how it's been since the dawn of BIOS. For me, since I'm running a virtual machine, I just changed this, booting vert IO 0 to 1 because this is the new drive. I'm going to put this at the top of the pecking order, make sure it's above network, hit OK, and now I boot into it and bring up the console and full screen it. And you'll see when this thing gets booted up, it's going to be booted into the cloned drive that we just created when it gets there. Now you gotta hang around for a minute because it's not like it magically understood its partitions. It still needs to be partitioned correctly. We have the nasty recovery partition in the way, and I'm gonna this is a Renism here because Ren doesn't give a shit about recovery partitions. Talking in third person, that's how you know I was drinking, and I broke my sobriety. But I have guests over, and I fought with my parents, and this is where I am. All right, so you get into Windows. This VM is very bare bones, so I don't have startup shit. But first things first, uh, get into Explorer. It's taking its time because it's on the new drive. That new drive isn't really very efficient as the other one was. It never could connect to his network drive, so that's fine because I'm not part of the burger share like or maybe I am. Maybe I am part of the. I didn't know that network was still up. Whatever. Okay, no, yeah, you can't connect to the ones on the intranet. This thing is outside the network. Okay, so you open up Internet Explorer or Windows Explorer, you see you have two drives that they're mirrored, but your C drive is the D what used to be the D drive. See, they're flip flop now, but to actually take advantage of the space that's on the D drive, because mind you, I made my D drive bigger than the C drive. I'm talking that way. I'm making the other one bigger. See, I got 30 gigs unallocated, and we have this nasty little bit in the way. This 500 megabyte recovery partition. In case your computer were to have a fuck up, you have a little thing in the way that your BIOS boots into Windows, and then this other thing takes over, and it's like, hey, do you want to troubleshoot? You can get that many different ways. You don't need a little partition to do that. A little 500 megabyte bitch in the way. You don't need that shit. So I'm gonna get rid of that. You can't easily get rid of it, and with the GUI, I hardly ever use the GUI. So what I do is I'm a I use PowerShell. I know PowerShell probably more than any other language. Unfortunately, because I work with Windows more than anything else. Even though I am like enthusiastically Linux. So we're gonna use the utility disk part, and we're gonna list our uh yeah, we're gonna list volumes here, but you can just list vol, listing vol, and you're looking for that 500 gig partition. That 500, yeah, right there. It's hidden away. It's volume 5. So we're gonna select our volume. You don't have to type out select completely. You can just say SEL vol 5. So we have that volume selected, and then we just that's what it delete volume override. Wait, hold on, I didn't spell override right. Override. There. Oh my Jesus shit. Okay, so over, and there it goes. It reflects right here instantly. And so from this point, you can extend the volume, go forwards, and here we go. We're looking at the before I execute this completely. Looking at this volume, we see that our C drive over here is 127. This is C20. This is the original drive. The original drive. Uh, Shit. Check this out. Because I don't give a shit about the original drive, I'm gonna go ahead and quick format that motherfucker. Complete. Yeah, right there, right there, right there. This is the original C drive that this computer booted off of, and now this is where I stash my porn. And that's just where the porn goes. The N drive is no more. That'll disappear eventually on its own. And now I'm gonna expand this drive. I'm gonna go back to Windows Explorer, and now it recognizes that the C drive is the big drive. This the little drive. The N drive will it'll fuck off. Probably on the next reboot because N doesn't exist anymore, and Explorer just hasn't caught up with the time yet. And so that's just to clarify on that one. Let's go ahead and do a restart on it, just so that if N comes back, then we'll remove it. Oh yeah, that's right. This motherfucker can't restart properly. Nah, this thing has this issue. It used to be able to restart. I forgot what I did, but it can't restart. It's something I did. It's something when I did with the migration of Proxmox between 6 and 7, I think, somewhere around there. So I have to stop it, and then it's already starting. Console, get back in there, and then there it's going. It did a graceful shutdown. It did, so that's good. It just didn't come back, and that it's fine as long as it closes out the file system properly. I think that starting back up bit is a Proxmox issue, and it's only with this machine. So I get back in here, and we're looking at Windows Explorer. And does my N drive exist? No, it doesn't. Yeah, it went away on its own. Yeah, just on the next reboot, and my drives are exactly what they're supposed to be. So that's my way of doing it. It's I think it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. Even I use UEFI, and that didn't give me any trouble at all. So I imagine the original BIOS boot up method, because there's only two of them, that you shouldn't have any troubles with this. I will do this though. I'm gonna go back in my Windows here, and because I know I installed some software, I want to programs and features. I want to remove that shit. I don't want it to exist forever. What did I install? No, uninstall that shit. Uninstall it. Uninstall it. I don't need things installed that I don't need. Remove everything. Remove every last thing. Mhm. And there we go. Did it. It's a done deal. I can use that old drive that I was using as my OS drive, and I can save all kinds of delicious things in here. But at the end of the day, I'm just gonna take this VM, and I'm gonna use Satiko. I'm gonna restore it to last Thursday. So go ahead and restore it, and that's the end of that. This that's it.